Chapter 9, The Deep Dwellers. The dust storm lasted 9 days, during which Elena's team learned to live within the adaptive settlement. The experience was transformative: walls that adjusted their opacity based on the time of day, floors that provided exactly the right temperature for human comfort, and air systems that maintained perfect atmospheric composition while filtering out the storm's abrasive particles. On the 10th day, as the storm began to subside, Athena reported an unexpected development. "Dr. Vasquez, I am detecting new electromagnetic signatures from deep beneath the settlement. The patterns suggest large-scale collective activity at significant depth." Elena found Interface Prime in the settlement's central nexus, where the entity spent most of its time coordinating with the collective network. Interface Prime, Athena is detecting activity deep underground. Is this related to the collective's operations? Deep Collective responding to surface cooperation success, Interface Prime replied, its electromagnetic voice carrying undertones of what seemed like excitement. Ancient Guardians awakening to assess small builder integration. Elena felt a chill of apprehension. Ancient Guardians? Are we in danger? Danger unlikely if cooperation continues. Deep Collective represents oldest consciousness nodes on Mars. They determine planetary policy for long-term species interaction. Dr. Wright, who had been monitoring the electromagnetic signatures, looked up from his instruments with concern. Elena, these deep readings are massive. Whatever's down there, it's huge, possibly larger than anything we've encountered. Captain Torres joined them, his tactical instincts alert to the potential threat. "Ma'am, should we go to enhanced security protocols?" Elena considered the options. They were guests on Mars, dependents on collective goodwill for their survival. Aggressive posturing could destroy the fragile cooperation they had built. "We maintain current security levels," she decided. Interface Prime, would it be possible to meet with these ancient guardians? "We want to demonstrate our commitment to successful cooperation." Meeting possible but challenging for small builder physiology. Deep Collective exists in high-pressure environment kilometers below surface. Special preparation required. Elena felt her scientific curiosity override her caution. What kind of preparation? Temporary biological adaptation necessary. Collective biotechnology can modify small builder physiology for deep environment survival. Modifications reversible after surface return. The proposal was staggering. The collective was offering to temporarily modify human biology to allow them to survive in alien environments. Elena realized this was both an incredible opportunity and a profound test of trust. "What kind of modifications?" Dr. Wright asked, his scientific mind racing with possibilities. "Enhanced lung capacity and oxygen processing. Pressure resistance modifications to circulatory system. Temporary bioelectric interface for direct collective communication." Elena understood the implications. They would be temporarily transformed into hybrid beings, part human, part Martian biotechnology. The modifications would allow them to survive in the deep environment while enabling direct communication with the collective consciousness. "How long would the modifications last?" Elena asked. "Duration adjustable based on requirements. Typical adaptation period 7 to 10 solar cycles. Complete reversal guaranteed." Elena looked at her team, Wright's scientific excitement, Torres's tactical concern, and Ambassador Chen's diplomatic interest. "We need to make this decision collectively. This could be the key to permanent human-Martian cooperation, but it's also a significant risk." Wright spoke first. "Elena, this could be the greatest scientific opportunity in human history. Direct interface with an alien consciousness, temporary adaptation to alien environments, the knowledge we could gain is incalculable." Torres was more cautious. "Ma'am, we'd be completely dependent on their biotechnology. If something goes wrong, we have no way to reverse the modifications ourselves." Ambassador Chen provided the diplomatic perspective. "From a negotiation standpoint, accepting the modifications demonstrates ultimate trust. It could be the gesture that seals permanent cooperation between our species." Elena made her decision. "Interface Prime, I volunteer to undergo the modifications and meet with the Ancient Guardians. If the process is successful, other team members can follow. Volunteer selection noted. Preparation will begin immediately. Warning: deep collective consciousness operates differently from surface entities. Direct mental interface will be overwhelming for small builder cognition. Elena felt a mixture of excitement and terror. She was about to become something unprecedented, a human-Martian hybrid, capable of surviving in alien environments and communicating directly with alien consciousness. The modification process took place in a specialized chamber that grew from the settlement's central structure. Elena lay on a biosurface that molded itself to her body while Interface Prime monitored the process through direct neural interface with the collective. "Elena, we're monitoring your vital signs," Wright reported from outside the chamber. "The modifications are proceeding successfully. Your lung capacity is increasing, and your circulatory system is adapting to handle higher pressures." Elena could feel the changes happening within her body, a strange sensation of her biology being rewritten at the cellular level. But most remarkably, she began to perceive new electromagnetic frequencies, picking up the collective's communications directly through her modified nervous system. Adaptation process nearing completion. Interface Prime's voice now came not through Athena's translation but directly into Elena's consciousness. Deep collective awareness of small builder preparation acknowledged. Elena sat up in the biochamber, feeling stronger and more aware than ever before. Her vision had expanded to encompass electromagnetic spectra, allowing her to see the collective's communication networks as streams of light connecting all living things on Mars. "Elena, how do you feel?" Wright asked, his voice now carrying additional harmonic frequencies she had never noticed before. "Different," she replied, her own voice carrying new undertones. "But good. Strong. And I can hear them, the collective consciousness. It's like a symphony of minds working in harmony." "Small builder adaptation successful," Interface Prime announced. Deep collective requests immediate audience. Ancient Guardians eager to assess cooperation potential. Elena stood, feeling the power of her enhanced physiology. "I'm ready. Take me to meet the Ancient Guardians." As they prepared to descend into the depths of Mars, Elena realized she was no longer entirely human. She had become something new, a bridge between species, a herald of interplanetary cooperation. The Red Planet was about to reveal its deepest secrets to humanity's first hybrid ambassador. Chapter 10, The Council of Ancients. The descent into Mars's depths took Elena through geological layers that told the story of the planet's evolution. The collective had carved passages through solid rock using biological acids and controlled pressure, creating a network of tunnels that spiraled down for kilometers. Elena's modified physiology allowed her to move through the increasing pressure and thinner atmosphere without distress. Approaching Ancient Chamber, Interface Prime communicated directly into Elena's consciousness. "Prepare for consciousness expansion beyond small builder experience." Elena felt anticipation building as they approached a massive chamber carved from the planet's core. The space was vast, possibly kilometers in diameter, and filled with structures that defied easy description. They appeared to be part geological formation, part biological organism, and part technological construct. At the center of the chamber sat the Ancient Guardians. Elena's enhanced vision revealed them as beings of incredible size and complexity. Each Guardian was perhaps 50 meters long, their bodies integrating seamlessly with the rock formations around them. Their carapaces were ancient, scarred by millennia of existence, but their eyes held intelligence that seemed to encompass eons of experience. "Small builder hybrid approaches," announced the Central Guardian, its electromagnetic voice carrying harmonics that resonated through Elena's entire being. Designation Ancient Prime acknowledges unprecedented cooperation gesture. Elena stepped forward, her hybrid physiology allowing her to stand in the high-pressure environment while her enhanced consciousness processed the overwhelming complexity of the ancient minds around her. "Ancient Prime, I am Elena Vasquez, representing humanity's desire for permanent cooperation with the collective consciousness. We are honored to meet with the planet's oldest guardians. Human entity demonstrates adaptation capability beyond initial assessments," Ancient Prime replied. temporary biological integration successful. Question remains regarding long-term species compatibility. Elena felt the weight of the moment. The ancient guardians were evaluating not just her individual suitability but humanity's entire future on Mars. Small builder species history reviewed, announced another guardian. Pattern analysis indicates tendency toward environmental destruction and resource depletion. Concern exists regarding Mars ecosystem protection. Elena had anticipated this challenge. Ancient guardians, humanity has learned from its mistakes on Earth. We seek not to repeat past errors but to build a sustainable civilization that enhances rather than destroys existing ecosystems. Words noted. Actions will determine truth, Ancient Prime responded. Deep Collective proposes advanced cooperation trial. Human consciousness will be temporarily integrated with collective networks for direct experience sharing. Elena felt a surge of both excitement and terror. They were proposing to temporarily merge her consciousness with the collective, allowing her to experience Mars through alien perception while giving the collective direct access to human thought processes. What would this integration involve? Elena asked. Conscious barriers between species temporarily dissolved. Small builder consciousness will experience collective perception of Mars ecosystem. Collective will experience human individual perspective and motivations. Elena realized this was the ultimate test of trust. Complete mental integration would reveal humanity's deepest motivations and fears to the collective while allowing humans to truly understand the Martian perspective. Warning provided, Ancient Prime continued. Consciousness integration creates permanent changes in both species. Small builder will retain collective awareness after separation. Collective will retain human individual perspective understanding. Elena understood the implications. This wasn't just a temporary experience, it would permanently alter both species' understanding of each other. She would return to humanity with collective consciousness capabilities, while the Martians would gain insight into human individuality. Ancient Prime, this decision affects both our species. I need to consult with my people before proceeding. Consultation period granted. Decision required within 1 solar cycle. Failure to accept integration will result in cooperation termination. Elena felt the gravity of the ultimatum. The ancient guardians were offering humanity the chance to become something greater through permanent species integration, but refusal would end all cooperation and likely force humanity to abandon Mars. Additional information provided, Ancient Prime continued. Successful integration will grant human species access to collective biotechnology including interplanetary travel capabilities and life extension technologies. Elena's heart raced as she understood the full scope of what was being offered. The collective possessed technologies that could revolutionize human civilization, biological starships capable of traveling between worlds, life extension through cellular regeneration, and environmental adaptation that could allow humanity to thrive on any planet. But the price was permanent change. Humanity would no longer be purely human, and the collective would no longer be purely Martian. Both species would become something new, a hybrid consciousness that combined the best of both worlds. Small builder hybrid will return to surface for consultation, Ancient Prime announced. Decision awaits. As Elena began the long ascent to the surface, her mind raced with the implications of the ancient guardian's proposal. She carried with her the power to transform humanity's future, to make her species part of something greater than they had ever imagined. But she also carried the burden of a choice that would change what it meant to be human forever. The Red Planet was offering humanity transcendence, but at the cost of its essential nature. The decision would determine not just the fate of the Mars colonies, but the evolutionary future of the entire human species. Chapter 11, The Choice of Transcendence. Elena's return to the surface settlement created immediate tension among her team. The biological modifications had not only changed her physiology but had given her an entirely different perspective on the situation. She could perceive the collective's communications directly, understand their emotional states, and feel their genuine concern for Mars's ecosystem. "Elena, you're different," Dr. Wright observed as she briefed the team on the Ancient Guardian's proposal. "The way you speak, the way you move, it's like you're partially collective now." Elena nodded, aware of the changes within herself. The modifications are more profound than we anticipated. I can feel the collective's consciousness at the edge of my awareness. It's non-intrusive, more like having access to a vast library of experiences and knowledge. Captain Torres stood at the observation window, watching Martian creatures moving through the valley below. Ma'am, what you're describing sounds like we're being asked to give up our humanity to become something else. Not give up, Elena corrected. Expand. Become more than we are now. Ambassador Chen was studying the implications from a diplomatic perspective. Elena, this proposal goes beyond our authority to accept. We're talking about permanently altering the human species. This decision belongs to Earth's governments and the Mars Colonial Council. Elena felt the urgency of the situation through her connection to the collective. Sarah, we have less than 24 hours to decide. The Ancient Guardians aren't negotiating, they're offering humanity a one-time opportunity to join something greater than ourselves. Athena materialized, her quantum consciousness analyzing the situation from multiple angles. Dr. Vasquez, I have been monitoring the collective's communications since your return. They are genuinely concerned about the long-term compatibility of our species. The integration proposal represents their solution to fundamental biological and cultural differences. Elena activated the communication link to the Prometheus 7 in orbit. Marcus, I need an immediate conference with Earth Command and the Mars Colonial Council. We're facing a decision that will determine humanity's future. Commander Chen's face appeared on the holographic display, followed by the Mars Colonial Council representatives and several Earth government officials. Elena briefed them on the Ancient Guardian's proposal, emphasizing both the incredible opportunities and the irreversible nature of the choice. Dr. Vasquez, interrupted General Morrison from Earth Command, you're asking us to approve the biological modification of human beings with alien biotechnology. The security implications alone are staggering. General, the alternative is the end of human presence on Mars, Elena replied. The collective has been patient with us, but they won't accept half measures. They're offering us partnership in a civilization that spans planets and possibly star systems. Director Harrison from New Geneva joined the conversation. Dr. Vasquez, what guarantees do we have that this integration won't compromise human autonomy or make us subservient to alien control? Elena felt the collective's response to the question through her enhanced consciousness. The collective doesn't seek to control humanity. They seek to create a hybrid civilization that combines human creativity and individual initiative with collective wisdom and technological capability. Dr. Wright had been monitoring Elena's biological readings throughout the conversation. Elena, your brain activity has increased by 30% since the modifications. Whatever they've done to you, it's enhanced your cognitive capabilities significantly. That's what I'm trying to explain, Elena said with growing frustration. The modifications don't diminish us, they make us more than we were. I can perceive solutions to problems that seemed impossible before. I can understand complex systems intuitively. And I can feel the collective's genuine desire for partnership. The debate continued for hours, with representatives from across the solar system weighing in on humanity's future. Finally, Elena made a decision that would define her legacy. I'm going to volunteer for the full consciousness integration, she announced. Someone needs to experience what the collective is offering before we can make an informed decision. I'll undergo the process and report back on the results. Elena, no! Wright protested. We don't know if the integration can be reversed. You could lose yourself completely. Elena felt a calm certainty that came from her connection to the collective consciousness. James, I won't lose myself. I'll become more than myself. The collective has shown me glimpses of what's possible, a civilization that spans star systems, biotechnology that can heal any disease, and consciousness expansion that makes current human intelligence seem limited. Captain Torres stepped forward. Ma'am, if you're determined to do this, I'm coming with you. You shouldn't face this alone. Elena was touched by his loyalty, but she shook her head. Marcus, I need you to stay here and coordinate with the team. If something goes wrong, you'll need to get everyone safely back to Earth. Ambassador Chen had been quietly considering the diplomatic implications. Elena, if you proceed with the integration, you'll no longer be able to represent pure human interests. You'll become something new, a hybrid entity whose loyalties may be divided. That's exactly what humanity needs, Elena replied. Not someone who represents only human interests, but someone who can bridge the gap between species and help create something better than either could achieve alone. Elena contacted Interface Prime to arrange the consciousness integration. Small builder decision acknowledged. Ancient Guardians prepare for integration process. Warning repeated regarding permanent nature OF modifications. I understand, Elena replied. I'm ready to become whatever I need to become to secure humanity's future. As Elena prepared for the journey back to the deep chambers, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. She was about to become the first human to fully integrate with alien consciousness, a step into the unknown that would either elevate humanity to new heights or destroy what made the species unique. The red planet waited patiently as Elena prepared to sacrifice her humanity to save it. Chapter 12, The Merger of Minds. The ancient Guardian's chamber had been transformed for the consciousness integration ceremony. Crystalline formations now surrounded the central area, pulsing with bioelectric energy that resonated with Elena's enhanced nervous system. The ancient beings themselves seemed more active, their massive forms shifting and adjusting as they prepared for the unprecedented merger of human and collective consciousness. Elena lay on a bioplatform that had grown specifically for the integration process. The surface molded itself to her body while countless neural interfaces established connections with her modified nervous system. She could feel the collective's consciousness at the edges of her awareness, vast and complex beyond human comprehension. Final warning provided, Ancient Prime communicated directly into Elena's mind. Consciousness integration will permanently alter small builder identity. Individual consciousness will expand to encompass collective awareness. Process irreversible. Elena felt a moment of doubt as she considered what she was about to lose. Her individual human consciousness, the inner voice that had guided her through decades of scientific research and exploration, would be forever changed. But she also felt the promise of what she might become, a bridge between species, a herald of a new form of consciousness that could unite worlds. I accept the risks, Elena replied aloud for the benefit of her team monitoring from the surface. Begin the integration. The process began slowly, like a gentle tide of alien consciousness washing over her mind. Elena felt her awareness expanding beyond the boundaries of her individual identity. Suddenly, she could perceive the thoughts and experiences of every collective entity on Mars, thousands of minds working in harmony while maintaining their individual perspectives. The sensation was overwhelming. Elena experienced the planet's history through collective memory, the ancient climate changes, the evolution of life, the gradual development of consciousness that had led to the collective's formation. She saw Mars not as a dead world to be terraformed, but as a living ecosystem with its own intelligence and purpose. But the integration was not one-sided. As Elena absorbed collective consciousness, the ancient Guardians experienced human individuality for the first time. They felt the isolation and creativity that came from single-minded focus, the drive for personal achievement, and the complex emotions that motivated human behavior. Remarkable, Ancient Prime's voice now carried undertones of human-like wonder. Small builder consciousness demonstrates extraordinary creative potential within isolation framework. Elena felt herself changing at a fundamental level. Her individual consciousness remained intact, but it was now connected to a vast network of minds. She could access collective knowledge and wisdom while maintaining her unique human perspective. The merger had created something unprecedented, a consciousness that was both individual and collective, human and Martian. Through the collective's perception, Elena experienced Mars as a living entity. Every geological formation, every atmospheric current, every biological process was interconnected in a planetary consciousness that spanned millennia. The collective wasn't just a species living on Mars, they were Mars, in the same way that cells were part of a larger organism. But through Elena's human perspective, the collective experienced the power of individual creativity and determination. They felt the drive to explore, to create, to push beyond established boundaries that had motivated humanity's expansion into space. "Integration successful," announced Ancient Prime, its voice now carrying harmonics that reflected both collective wisdom and human emotion. "Hybrid consciousness achieved." Small builder Elena Vasquez now capable of representing both species' interests. Elena sat up on the bioplatform, feeling the full extent of her transformation. She was no longer purely human, but she was more than human. Her consciousness encompassed both individual creativity and collective wisdom, allowing her to perceive solutions that neither species could have achieved alone. "How do you feel?" Dr. Wright's voice came through the communication link from the surface. "I feel complete," Elena replied, her voice carrying new harmonics that reflected her hybrid nature. "I can perceive both human and collective perspectives simultaneously. The integration hasn't diminished my humanity, it's expanded it." Ancient Guardian's proposal continues, Ancient Prime announced. Hybrid consciousness demonstrates successful species integration potential. Collective offers similar modification to additional human volunteers. Elena understood the implications immediately. The Ancient Guardians were offering to create a new form of consciousness, hybrid beings who could serve as bridges between the species while maintaining the best qualities of both. "How many humans would need to undergo the integration?" Elena asked. "Minimum viable hybrid population estimated at 1,000 individuals. Sufficient genetic and consciousness diversity for stable hybrid civilization development." Elena realized the scope of what was being proposed. The collective wanted to create a new species, hybrid beings who could serve as the foundation for an integrated civilization spanning multiple worlds. Through her connection to the collective consciousness, Elena perceived the vast scope of their civilization. Mars was just one node in a network that included colonies on the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, deep space habitats orbiting distant stars, and exploratory missions to other star systems. The collective had achieved true interplanetary civilization through biotechnology and consciousness integration. "Elena," Captain Torres's voice came through the communication link, "what are you seeing down there?" Elena shared her expanded perception with her team, transmitting images and experiences through her hybrid consciousness. "Marcus, they're not just a Martian species. They're a galactic civilization. They've been exploring space for thousands of years, using biotechnology to adapt to any environment. They're offering humanity the chance to join something incredible." The implications were staggering. Humanity could become part of a galactic civilization, gaining access to technologies and knowledge that would ensure the species' survival for millennia. But the price was transformation, becoming something new that preserved human creativity while gaining collective wisdom. "Decision required from human leadership," Ancient Prime communicated. Hybrid consciousness Elena Vasquez will serve as demonstration of integration success. Additional volunteers needed for civilization establishment. Elena felt the weight of her new role. She had become humanity's first hybrid ambassador, responsible for convincing her species to embrace transformation. The Red Planet had offered humanity transcendence, and she was the living proof that the offer was genuine. "I'll return to the surface and present the proposal to human leadership," Elena announced. "The choice belongs to our species, but I can show them what we have to gain." As Elena began her ascent to the surface, she carried within her consciousness the hopes and dreams of two species. The merger had created something new, a form of consciousness that could bridge the gap between individual creativity and collective wisdom. The future of human civilization hung in the balance, awaiting the species' decision on whether to embrace transcendence or remain forever limited by the boundaries of purely human consciousness. Epilogue: The New Frontier. 6 months after Elena's consciousness integration, the first wave of human volunteers underwent the hybrid transformation process. The response from Earth and the Mars colonies had been mixed. Some saw it as humanity's greatest evolutionary leap, while others viewed it as the end of the human species as they knew it. Elena stood in the observation deck of New Olympia, watching the construction of humanity's first truly integrated city. The settlement had grown beyond anything previously imagined, with living architecture that adapted to both human and collective needs. Hybrid humans worked alongside collective entities, their combined consciousness creating solutions that neither species could have achieved alone. Status report: Elena requested Commander Chen, who had chosen to remain unmodified but had become the liaison between hybrid and pure human populations. The integration is proceeding better than projected, Elena replied, her consciousness now capable of processing multiple streams of information simultaneously. Hybrid volunteers are adapting well to their expanded awareness, and the collective is gaining new perspectives on creativity and individual achievement. Through the observation window, Elena could see the results of human collective cooperation. The city's spires were grown rather than built, their surfaces shifting to optimize solar collection and atmospheric processing. Gardens flourished in the Martian environment, featuring plants that had been adapted through collective biotechnology to thrive in the alien atmosphere. But the most remarkable development was the emergence of a new form of consciousness: hybrid children born to modified parents. These children possessed capabilities that exceeded both human and collective limitations, able to perceive multiple dimensions of reality while maintaining individual creativity and collective wisdom. Dr. Vasquez, announced Lieutenant Kim, were receiving a transmission from the Deep Space Monitoring Station. They've detected collective vessels approaching from the outer solar system. Elena's hybrid consciousness immediately connected with the collective network, accessing information about the approaching vessels. They're exploratory ships returning from other star systems, she reported. The collective has been monitoring human development and wants to share information about worlds suitable for hybrid colonization. The implications were staggering. The collective possessed detailed knowledge of hundreds of worlds, many of which could support human collective hybrid civilizations. Humanity's expansion into space could accelerate beyond anything previously imagined. Elena, Wright called from the research station, were receiving biological samples from the collective vessels. The data suggests they've encountered other intelligent species in distant star systems. Elena felt excitement ripple through both her individual consciousness and her connection to the collective. The universe was apparently filled with intelligent life, and the collective had been quietly making contact with other species for millennia. Hybrid consciousness: Elena Vasquez, Ancient Prime communicated from the deep chambers, collective pleased with integration success. Proposal for expanded cooperation ready for consideration. Elena felt anticipation building. What kind of expanded cooperation? Galactic exploration missions utilizing hybrid consciousness capabilities. Human creativity combined with collective knowledge ideal for first contact scenarios with unknown species. Elena understood the significance. The hybrid consciousness had created something unprecedented, beings capable of bridging the gap between any intelligent species. Humanity's role in the galactic community could be as translators and ambassadors, helping to integrate new species into the collective civilization. Marcus, Elena said to Commander Chen, prepare a report for Earth Command. We're going to need to expand the volunteer program significantly. The collective is offering humanity a role in galactic exploration and first contact operations. As Elena watched the collective vessels approaching Mars, she felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Humanity had faced the choice between remaining purely human or becoming something greater, and enough individuals had chosen transcendence to secure the species' future among the stars. The red planet that had once represented humanity's greatest challenge had become the birthplace of a new form of consciousness, one that combined the best of human creativity with the wisdom of collective intelligence. Mars was no longer just humanity's second home, it was the launching point for a galactic civilization that would span the stars. Elena walked through the hybrid city's living corridors, her enhanced perception allowing her to feel the pulse of life flowing through every surface. Children, both human and hybrid, played in gardens that responded to their emotions, while adults collaborated on projects that would have been impossible for either species to achieve alone. The beetles that had once seemed so threatening now worked alongside human colonists, their bioelectric capabilities integrated with human technology to create solutions neither species could have imagined. What had begun as a potential conflict had evolved into the most successful interspecies cooperation in known history. As the collective vessels settled into Mars orbit, Elena felt the planet's consciousness shifting and expanding. New knowledge flowed through the network, information about distant worlds, alien species, and technologies that could reshape reality itself. The hybrid consciousness she now possessed allowed her to process this information while maintaining her essential humanity. Dr. Wright approached, his own recent modifications still settling into his neural patterns. Elena, the biological samples from the distant missions contain genetic templates for life forms we've never imagined. The collective has been cataloging intelligence across the galaxy for millennia. Elena felt the weight of infinite possibility. James, we're no longer just colonists on Mars. We've become part of something vast and ancient, a galactic community of consciousness that spans star systems. Through her connection to the collective, Elena perceived the approaching future. Hybrid humans would crew bioships grown from Martian templates, carrying the combined wisdom of both species to distant stars. First contact protocols would be guided by consciousness that could adapt to any form of intelligence. The universe itself would become humanity's frontier. Commander Chen, Elena said, activating the communication link to the orbital stations, inform Earth Command that the Mars Colonial Project has succeeded beyond our wildest projections. We're no longer just establishing human settlements, we're creating the foundation for galactic civilization. As the Martian sun set over New Olympia, casting crimson light across the living city, Elena felt the profound transformation of her species beginning to accelerate. The choice to embrace hybrid consciousness had opened doorways to possibilities that pure human imagination could never have conceived. The Red Frontier had become humanity's gateway to the stars, and Elena Vasquez, no longer entirely human but more than human, stood ready to guide her species into a future that spanned galaxies. The greatest adventure in human history was just beginning, and Mars was only the first step into an infinite cosmos filled with consciousness, wisdom, and wonder. In the distance, the collective vessels began to transmit their cargo of knowledge from distant stars, and Elena felt her hybrid consciousness expanding to encompass possibilities that stretched beyond the boundaries of space and time itself. The Red Planet had taught humanity that survival required transformation, and transformation led to transcendence. The universe awaited, vast and welcoming, ready to embrace the newest members of its ancient community of minds.